The Aftermath of Us, Chapters 8 and 9. Chapter 8. Deeper Waters. 3 weeks had passed since the theater date, and Alara's life had taken on a rhythm she hadn't experienced since before Mark left. Marcus called every evening after his shift, their conversation stretching long into the night after Leo was asleep. They talked about everything and nothing, his challenging cases at the hospital, her dreams of maybe going back to school someday, Leo's latest vocabulary explosions, childhood memories that made them laugh until their sides hurt. The support group had noticed the change in her immediately. During their Thursday evening meeting, Sarah had nudged her with a knowing smile when Alara caught herself checking her phone for the third time. "You're glowing," announced Patricia, a woman in her 50s who'd been attending the group longer than anyone. "That's the look of a woman who's remembering she's more than just a mother." Alara had blushed, but she couldn't deny it. For the first time in over a year, she felt like herself again, not just Leo's mom, not just a woman trying to survive, but Alara. A woman with hopes and dreams and the possibility of love. Marcus had been patient, never pushing for more than she was ready to give. Their dates always included Leo, and he seemed genuinely delighted by this arrangement. He'd started bringing small gifts, a new dinosaur book, a puzzle featuring prehistoric creatures, a stuffed pterodactyl that Leo immediately named Fly. But it was the way he remembered the little things that made Alara's heart flutter. Leo's favorite snack, the fact that he needed his triceratops to fall asleep, the way he pronounced Stegosaurus as Stegosaurus. This particular Saturday, Marcus had suggested something different. "There's a fall festival at the park downtown," he'd said during their nightly phone call. "Pumpkin carving, hay rides, apple cider. I thought Leo might enjoy it." "That sounds perfect," Alara had replied, already imagining Leo's excitement at the hayride. "Actually," Marcus had continued, his voice taking on a slightly nervous quality, "I was wondering if you'd be comfortable with me picking you both up. I know we've been meeting places, but I thought, maybe it's time?" The suggestion had sent a flutter of both excitement and anxiety through her chest. Having Marcus come to their apartment felt like a significant step, an invitation into the private space she'd guarded so carefully. But as she looked around their small living room, Leo's toys scattered across the floor, his artwork taped to the refrigerator, the cozy chaos of their life together, she realized she wanted him to see it. She wanted him to understand the world she'd built for herself and Leo. "I'd like that," she'd said, and meant it. Saturday morning arrived crisp and bright, with the kind of autumn air that made everything feel possible. Leo had been awake since dawn, chattering about the festival and asking approximately every 5 minutes when Marcus would arrive. Alara had changed clothes 3 times before settling on dark jeans, a soft burgundy sweater, and boots, practical for walking around a festival, but pretty enough to make her feel confident. When the knock came at exactly 10 o'clock, Leo raced to the door with the enthusiasm of a puppy greeting its favorite human. Marcus, we're going to the festival," he announced the moment Alara opened the door. Marcus was standing in the hallway holding a small bouquet of autumn flowers. Nothing fancy, just chrysanthemums and small sunflowers wrapped in brown paper. But the gesture made Alara's heart skip. "These are beautiful," she said, accepting the flowers with a smile that felt like sunshine. "Not as beautiful as you," Marcus replied, then immediately looked embarrassed by his own boldness. "Sorry, that was sweet," Alara finished, standing on her tiptoes to kiss his cheek. "That was sweet." Leo, meanwhile, had noticed something far more interesting than flowers. "Marcus, you have a car seat." Indeed, Marcus had installed a car seat in the back of his sedan, a detail that spoke volumes about his intentions and his thoughtfulness. Alara felt something warm and grateful settle in her chest as she watched him help Leo buckle in, explaining the safety features with the same patience he'd shown at the museum. The festival was everything Marcus had promised and more. The park had been transformed into an autumn wonderland, with hay bales arranged for seating, pumpkins of every size scattered throughout, and the warm scent of cinnamon and apples filling the air. Leo was in absolute heaven, racing from activity to activity with boundless energy. They started with pumpkin picking, Leo taking the task very seriously as he examined each orange globe for the perfect combination of size, shape, and personality. Marcus crouched beside him, offering opinions when asked and helping him lift the heavier candidates. "This one," Leo finally announced, patting a medium-sized pumpkin with a slightly lopsided stem. "He looks friendly." "Excellent choice," Marcus agreed solemnly. "Definitely the friendliest pumpkin here." As they moved through the festival, Alara found herself watching Marcus as much as she watched the activities. The way he lifted Leo onto his shoulders so he could see the puppet show better. The way he bought Leo a caramel apple and then patiently helped him eat it without getting too sticky. The way he seemed genuinely interested in every single thing Leo wanted to show him, from the really big pumpkin to the horse that looks like a dog. Actually, a very shaggy pony. But it was during the hayride that something shifted. They were sitting on bales of hay in the back of a tractor-pulled wagon, Leo nestled between them, when the little boy suddenly grew quiet. The excitement of the day had finally caught up with him, and he leaned against Marcus's side with the unconscious trust that children reserve for people they feel completely safe with. Marcus looked down at Leo's sleepy face, then up at Alara, his expression soft with something that looked like wonder. "He's incredible," Marcus said quietly, his arm tightening protectively around Leo. "You both are." Alara felt tears prick at her eyes. Not sad tears, but the kind that came from overwhelming gratitude and the recognition of something precious. "He likes you," she said simply. "He doesn't warm up to people easily, but with you—" "With me, what?" "With you, it's like he's been waiting for you." The words hung in the air between them, loaded with meaning that went far beyond a simple observation about her son's behavior. Marcus reached over and took her hand, his fingers intertwining with hers. "Maybe he has been," Marcus said softly. "Maybe you both have." The hayride ended too soon, but Leo was fully asleep by then, his head pillowed against Marcus's shoulder. As they walked back to the car, Marcus carrying Leo with the ease of someone who'd done it many times before, Alara felt a shift in her understanding of what was happening between them. This wasn't just dating anymore. This wasn't just two adults getting to know each other. This was the beginning of something that included all three of them, a family in the making. Back at the apartment, Marcus helped carry a sleeping Leo inside, waiting quietly while Alara changed him into pajamas and tucked him into his toddler bed. When she emerged from Leo's room, she found Marcus in the kitchen, having taken it upon himself to put the flowers in water. "You didn't have to do that," she said, but she was smiling. "I wanted to. I like taking care of things that matter to you." The simple statement hit her with unexpected force. When was the last time someone had wanted to take care of things that mattered to her? When was the last time someone had seen her needs and met them without being asked? "Marcus," she began, then stopped, not sure how to put into words what she was feeling. "What is it?" He stepped closer, his hands coming up to frame her face gently. "I'm scared," she admitted in a whisper. "I'm scared of how much I'm starting to care about you. I'm scared of what happens if this doesn't work out. I'm scared of Leo getting hurt if you decide this is too much." Marcus was quiet for a long moment, his thumbs brushing across her cheekbones. "Can I tell you something?" he said finally. She nodded. "I'm scared too. I'm scared because I've never felt this way about anyone before. I'm scared because when I think about my future now, I can't imagine it without you and Leo in it. I'm scared because this matters more than anything has ever mattered to me." "So what do we do?" Alara asked, her voice barely audible. "We take it one day at a time," Marcus said, leaning his forehead against hers. "We be honest with each other. We protect Leo. And we trust that sometimes the best things in life are worth being scared for." And then he kissed her. Not the gentle, tentative kisses they'd shared before, but something deeper, more certain. A kiss that tasted like promises and felt like coming home. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Alara felt like something fundamental had shifted between them. They'd crossed a line from which there was no going back, and for the first time in a very long time, that didn't terrify her. "Stay for dinner?" she asked, her voice husky with emotion. "I'd love to," Marcus replied, and the smile he gave her was radiant with possibility. Chapter 9. The test. 2 weeks later, Alara was beginning to understand what it felt like to be part of a team again. Marcus had seamlessly integrated himself into their routine, picking up Leo from daycare when Alara had to work late, bringing groceries when he noticed they were running low, reading bedtime stories with voices that made Leo giggle until he hiccuped. It was almost too good to be true, which was exactly what worried her. The test came on a Tuesday evening in the form of a phone call that shattered the peaceful domesticity they'd been building. Alara was in the kitchen, making dinner while Marcus helped Leo build an elaborate dinosaur habitat out of blocks when her phone rang. The number was unfamiliar, but something about it made her stomach clench with dread. "Hello? Alara? It's Mark." The world tilted sideways. Mark's voice, once so familiar, now sounded like an echo from another lifetime. In the living room, she could hear Leo's delighted laughter as Marcus made roaring sounds for the T-Rex, and the contrast between past and present was jarring. "Mark," she managed, her voice barely steady. What do you want?" "I know this is unexpected. I know I don't have the right to call. But I've been thinking about you. About Leo. I made a mistake, Alara. A huge mistake." Alara sank into a kitchen chair, her legs suddenly unable to support her. "You can't just call me after 8 months and say you made a mistake." I know how this sounds. But I've been going to therapy, working on myself. I understand now why I ran. I was scared of the responsibility. Scared of not being good enough for you and Leo. But I'm different now. I want to try again." In the living room, Marcus's voice carried clearly. And then the Brachiosaurus said, "Leo, would you like to help me reach the tall leaves?" "Leo," came her son's delighted response. "I help." The sound of her son's happiness, combined with Mark's voice in her ear, created a cognitive dissonance that made her feel sick. "Alara, are you there?" "I'm here," she whispered. "But Mark, you can't just... Leo doesn't even remember you. He's moved on. We've moved on." "Have you?" Mark's voice was soft, almost pleading. "Because I remember how good we were together. I remember how much we loved each other. That doesn't just disappear." But it did, Alara realized with startling clarity. Whatever she'd felt for Mark had been buried under months of hurt and healing, under the slow rebuilding of her life, under the growing certainty that she deserved better than someone who would walk away when things got difficult. "It does disappear," she said firmly. "It disappeared the day you decided we weren't worth fighting for." "Alara, please, just give me a chance to explain, to show you that I've changed. Can we meet? Just to talk?" Before she could answer, Marcus appeared in the kitchen doorway, Leo perched on his shoulders. He took one look at her face and his expression shifted from playful to concerned. "Everything okay?" he asked quietly. Leo, oblivious to the tension, waved enthusiastically. "Mama!" Marcus made the dinosaurs talk. The sight of them together, Marcus's protective stance, Leo's complete trust, the easy way they'd become a unit, crystallized something in Alara's mind. "No," she said into the phone, her voice stronger now. "We can't meet. We can't talk. You made your choice 8 months ago, and I've made mine now." "Alara, don't call me again, Mark. Please. We're happy now. Let us stay that way." She hung up before he could respond, her hands shaking as she set the phone down. Marcus had set Leo down and was approaching her carefully, as if she were a wounded animal that might bolt. "Who was that?" he asked gently. "Mark," she said simply, and watched Marcus's face go through a series of emotions, surprise, concern, and something that might have been fear. What did he want? Alara looked at Marcus, really looked at him. At the man who'd spent the last hour making dinosaur voices for her son. Who'd installed a car seat in his car without being asked. Who'd brought flowers to their first real date and remembered that Leo liked his sandwiches cut into triangles. Who'd held her while she cried about the medical bills and never once suggested that her problems were too much for him to handle. "He wanted to try again," she said. "He said he'd made a mistake." Marcus went very still. "And what did you tell him?" "I told him no." The words came out strong and certain, surprising her with their conviction. I told him we were happy now. Are we? Marcus asked quietly. Are you happy, Alara? She stood up and walked to him, placing her hands on his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart under her palms. I'm happier than I've been in years, she said. You make me happy. You make Leo happy. You make us feel like a family. Marcus's arms came around her, pulling her close. That call scared you. It did, she admitted. Not because I want him back, but because it reminded me how much I have to lose now. How much you both mean to me. Mama? Leo's small voice interrupted them. He was standing nearby, his expression uncertain. Are you sad? Alara knelt down to his level, pulling him into a hug. No, baby, I'm not sad. I'm very, very happy. Because Marcus is here? Because Marcus is here, she confirmed, looking up at the man who'd become so much more than she'd ever dared to hope for. Marcus knelt down beside them, completing their circle. Leo, do you know what I told your mama today? Leo shook his head, his eyes wide with curiosity. I told her that you two are the best thing that's ever happened to me, and that I want to keep being part of your family if that's okay with you. Leo considered this with the seriousness that only a toddler could bring to important matters. Will you still make dinosaur voices? Every day, Marcus promised solemnly. And help me reach tall things? Whenever you need me to. And make Mama smile? Marcus looked at Alara, his eyes soft with love. That's my favorite job. Leo nodded decisively. Okay, you can stay. As they sat there on the kitchen floor, the three of them wrapped in an impromptu group hug, Alara felt something settle in her chest, a peace she hadn't known she'd been searching for. Mark's call hadn't shaken her faith in what she'd built with Marcus. It had only confirmed how solid their foundation really was. I love you, she whispered to Marcus, the words slipping out before she could stop them. Marcus's smile was radiant. I love you too, both of you. Love you too, Marcus, Leo chimed in, not wanting to be left out. And sitting there in her small kitchen, surrounded by the two people who'd become her whole world, Alara finally understood what it meant to be home.